So good evening everybody, and welcome to the Royal College of Nursing Students live webinar. It's actually our last in the series, so I'm very sad about that, but tonight we are going to be discussing first year nursing students and how we can help support you with your studies and your future career. My name is Lindsay McLaughlin and I am one of the RCN Students Committee members, and I represent one of the seats for Northern Ireland. So I'm going to be chairing this tonight. I'm very excited because we have some amazing speakers on tonight, and I'm really glad that you could all join us. I hope you look forward to it, or you have been looking forward to it, and you enjoy it. I'm just going to start by explaining the format of the webinar tonight and how it's going to work. So we do have 5 speakers who are going to present themselves, and each will discuss around a different topic, and we'll basically all be discussing their role in the RCN or their experiences with the RCN students. At the very end, once we all the speakers have spoke, we will have a live question and answer. So feel free to pop in any questions into the chat box, and our team will go through them, and anything that we can't discuss tonight or we don't get time to tonight, we will collate them and we will pop them up on the socials, Facebook or Twitter, and try and get as many questions answered as possible. So the webinar topic tonight, as I have already mentioned, is based around first year nursing students and supporting you with your studies and your career. So what we will talk about tonight is basically an introduction to the RCN, who we are, and as a first year nursing student, what can benefit you by joining the RCN as a member, as a student member, how we can help you through your academic studies over the next few years, how we can support you, where we can direct you to, and the benefits basically of just being a student member. Personally, I can say it's one of the best decisions I ever made, but I'll get to explain that later. So really hope you enjoy tonight. We've all been really looking forward to it, and please do use the chat box because we want to help you as much as we can. So I think without further ado, we are going to go on to our first speaker. I'm really honoured and humbled to have her join us tonight. It's our Chief Executive and General Secretary of the RCN. It's the one and only Dame Donna Kinnair. Welcome.
Thank you so much. So can I just start by saying hello to everybody. I am the Chief Exec and General Secretary, and it's a real pleasure to be speaking to you all tonight, because it's often that I get asked to speak at events about nursing professions, but my favourite sessions are always those that I get to hold with students, partly because it's just a pleasure, and I know I can't see you all, but to know that you're out there and you're starting out on your career. You're so enthusiastic, and I can still remember the energy and the enthusiasm and the dedication to my studies. Not always, I have to confess, some of it was nights out, but the dedication to the profession that you're joining. And students always make me proud because I see that enthusiasm time and time again. And you know, when we talk about the Royal College of Nursing, there are over 450,000 members, and this year we've worked, we've lived and we've studied during this COVID-19 pandemic. And you know, it's taken me back to when I started nursing over 35 years ago, and I started training in the Royal London Hospital, and I actually started training when my son was 6 years old. Throughout my entire time, I've had such a varied career. I started off by working in children's, I've worked in HIV, and working in HIV feels very similar to working in COVID, and I know it's not the same thing, but then if you think back to 1983, we didn't even understand HIV and AIDS or where it was coming from, and actually the PPE that we wore initially is very similar to what I'm seeing people wear, and that's the space suits that we put on, and And then I later went on to qualify as a health visitor and pounded the streets of Newham. But nursing is a hugely varied and exciting career. And in my lifetime, I've done so many aspects. I've studied, I've continuously studied, and actually used the RCN to help me with some of those studies. I've had the opportunity to teach students, not just in this country, in some of the prestigious universities, but also to teach across the world in different countries such as Africa, the Caribbean. I even actually went and taught in Russia at one time. So for me, I've held numerous leadership roles, commissioning roles, been an advisor to the government, and today, as the Chief Exec and General Secretary of the Royal College of Nursing, I am living proof that nursing can take you anywhere. So I just wanted to say to you really that you too can achieve anything as a nurse, and you should be really excited about the career ahead of you, because the beauty of nursing is that there isn't a standard or a set path to follow. I've been able, as I said, to do lots and lots of different things, partly through training and skills that I've had to acquire. But in doing that, I've had to be open to the new opportunities. I've had to put myself out there and learn new skills. So it meets, as a career, nursing meets so many needs, and it offers us lots and lots of opportunities to specialise, broaden horizons, get involved in care innovations. It's a job that has a unique combination of complex technical skills and knowledge, but also emotional intelligence. You know, if you just think about the communication that you use when you're talking to patients, or the understanding and empathy that you have to get alongside your patients. So there are so many different roles within this career and within healthcare. And each of them offer us something different and something new to learn. It gives us, at times, you're a follower, you're delivering care, sometimes you're in positions of responsibility, sometimes you might go on to run your own clinics. I used to love running baby clinics. And then other times some of you will go on to take leadership roles at an executive level. So what I learned throughout my career is there's no such thing as a typical day in nursing, but whatever you do, it will be busy, it will be different. Everything is so different every day. Every patient is so different. The way in which patients even turn over more rapidly now, it will always be different. You will not have the chance to get bored. So let me tell you about the RCN then. What is the RCN? Well, it's people often say, well, the RCN's a trade union and a professional body for nursing. It is that, but it actually is a special registered body because it combines both the profession of nursing, our professional body that absolutely helps us set standards, helps me argue for looking after nurses, whether that's pay, whether that's the standard that we work to, and it also looks after you when you've got issues in the workplace or with employers. As I said before, we represent 450,000 members. We've got nurses, we've got midwives, we've got healthcare assistants, assistant practitioners, nursing associates and nursing students. And we support members across a variety of settings in the UK. Approximately 35,000 of our members are actually nursing students like you. And that is, if you think about the standards of nursing and us setting some of those standards, that's throughout, England, Northern Ireland, Scotland and Wales. So sitting here this evening, you might think to yourself, well, what's the point in joining a trade union and a specialist body that absolutely helps you with your professional studies? But the best thing about it actually is the Royal College of Nursing is a member-led organisation. When you actually join us, you become part of a collective voice of nursing. So when I go out and as the Chief Exec and General Secretary, and I speak on behalf of nursing, in a way, I'm speaking on behalf of nurses, whether they're members. If I'm fighting for an increase of pay, I'm talking about people, whether they're members or not. When I talk about the need for nurses to have proper protective equipment, whether I'm on TV or the news, I'm talking about nursing as a profession. So actually we as the Royal College of Nursing get to speak on behalf of the profession, because we actually have a collective voice of nursing with us, and we can stand together. And equally, when we speak as both a professional body and a trade union, you are sure that we understand the world that you are in and what is important to you. Because, you know, literally, and if I went back to the last summer, I myself could go out and work in ITU again on the front line, so that I can understand some of the issues and the pressures that nurses were experiencing in the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. So you will become expert practitioners as you go through your learning, but you are on a journey to becoming nurses. And already you will know or have some understanding, whether it's from your studies that you've just started, or just things that you've seen in life, or things you've heard on the TV, about the relationship between good care for nurses themselves, and that enables you to give good care to your patients, and you will know what needs to be done to ensure that that happens. So one of the things that I can promise you is that joining the RCN, your voice is amplified through the RCN as a union and a professional body, and we do speak to government, and it is heard and sometimes acted on by government. It does represent an ability to help you as nurses, but us all as nurses, to be able to hold a platform, and we allow this to happen through our representatives on the ground, who are effective and they're elected democratically. So we've been part of a national, international campaigns, local campaigns, to make sure that we improve working practices and environments, and the health and the well-being of the nursing workforce. And we actually know that even today, despite our efforts, we still have a workforce that is undervalued and sometimes inadequately supported. But actually, just our pressure and our voice, we try and make improvements. We're currently working with members to fight for fair pay for nursing students, and you'll have seen some of the work that we are doing and we continue to do in order to make that heard. And we also make sure that we have independent research and intelligence gathering to enable us to build on the evidence that's out there, so that we can really influence change. As students, and I know that you're going to talk, a student ambassador is going to talk to you, but they can help, you can help as students by becoming ambassadors, and that you can help signpost and campaign for us and influence the future of nursing. And, you know, when you move into that world of work and you have that growth of knowledge, there is so much more for you to do and learn as part of the RCN. You will find out there on the ground a growing community of representatives who will work alongside you in your workplace, but also will provide support and representation in relation to employment matters. Reps will work collectively and locally, but they will also make sure they influence us at the RCN to work on behalf of our members, both nationally and sometimes internationally. There's so many benefits. We've got probably the largest nursing library. I know other people are going to talk about this, but one of the things that I wanted to just bring to your attention, that one of the things that we have been successful in is, I know that we were hard done by, I think, as students in this country. And in December 2019, in the run-up to the general election, we wrote to all the party leaders urging them to prioritise student funding. We demanded that extra funding was allocated because we had lost the bursary to attract more students into the profession. And we did this campaign at a time when it was crucial for those that are in government to actually just watch what they were doing. But within 2 weeks of that campaign, they confirmed that in September 2020, all nursing students would receive at least a bursary of £5,000 a year to help them with living costs. And that reintroduction is already starting to impact on the nursing numbers. And this year we've supported our student committee to lobby that student nurses enter in supernumerary placements in COVID-19 will be supported properly so that learning and development could continue at the forefront. Also, we know that those students who stepped forward to work during the pandemic, their contracts were honoured because we put pressure on Health Education England to make sure that they paid them. And then we also made sure that any change to their contracts had to be voluntary rather than solely by the employer. And, you know, in July, we released a new report that told the government what they should be doing to increase student numbers joining the profession. Now, we know that we've still got a long way to go, but we know with your help, we can still build pressure on the policymakers and the government. And just this week, actually, we've had the opportunity to tell the government what we want to see in the spending review next month. And we've recently submitted, but we've made our position very clear that from reimbursing tuition fees for students, impact on the removal of the to lessen the impact of the removal of the bursary, and to make sure that the living maintenance grants reflect student need. So it just remains for me to say that I really, really want you to enjoy this evening's webinar, and I really do wish you the best of luck with your nursing studies, because one thing that I can guarantee you is if you stick to it, it will take you, it potentially can take you anywhere. And it's important to remember that, you know, there is a community all around you that is willing to step up and look after you and help you and work alongside you in COVID. So remember, you're the future of nursing. I'm on my way out, but your commitment and dedication to your nursing studies will make me hugely proud, because I know at some stage in my future, I'm going to need nurses. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Donna, for taking time out of, I know, your completely busy schedule and coming and talking to us tonight. And I'm sure all the RCN students that are joining us tonight will really have valued that and everything that you've explained to us. So again, thank you. We're going to move on now as well. Myself as an RCN student committee member, I'm just going to take a few minutes to basically explain how I've got involved in the RCN and what my journey has been. So as I said, my name's Lindsay and I live in Belfast, and I attended Queen's University and studied as an adult nurse, and I've literally just joined the register in September, so I'm now a newly qualified nurse. I was actually a hairdresser for quite a number of years before I came into nursing. I'm a mother of two, and it's something that I always been completely, everything about nursing really fascinated me. I was so intrigued. I did have a family member who was a nurse, and I was very close to that person, and I just thought, I'm now 37 years old, so I am what they call a mature student. So I came into my nursing career quite late. But when I got into Queen's, like, nothing could take away from the excitement and how proud I was to have joined Queen's and to begin my nursing journey. And from the very start, I knew it wasn't going to be easy. And still to this day, I will always say it is the biggest roller coaster I have ever been on. But it's the most satisfying, and I wouldn't have changed it for the last couple of years for the world. It's definitely a journey. It has its ups and downs, and it's definitely character building, but you know, it's in a good way. It is in a good way, and I've definitely grown as a person, and I've loved watching everyone's journey, and trust me when I say that they're all so different. So just bear in mind that as you continue through your academic journey and on through your nursing career, that no one journey is the same. So taking me back to Freshers Week, the first stand that I knew I wanted to approach was the RCN stand. I'd heard a lot through the media and just how, you know, amazing things that had done and how they have been there for their members. So I knew that well, one, that I needed to be part of a trade union if I was going to embark in this career, and two, I wanted to meet other people who were enthusiastic about making a change in the healthcare world, in the healthcare sector. Obviously, I'm from Northern Ireland and things do slightly differ over here as what they are in England, but that didn't mean to say, being from Northern Ireland, that I couldn't help lead change on the mainland too. We're all part of the UK, and in one way or another we all, face the same issues. So I became, back then, what was known as a student information officer. It's now been rebranded as a student ambassador. So I became a student ambassador, and really nothing prepared me for the opportunities that were going to open up for me. My journey with the RCN has been, I can't even put it into words, it's just been amazing. I've met some amazing people, and I've connected with lots of different student members across the UK. But to explain, the SA role is a network of student members who are from all different fields of nursing, from all over the UK, and we do voluntary work. Obviously it's voluntary, to support and share information with other student members. As I said, it provides great opportunity for nursing students who, like myself, were passionate, wanted to make a difference and lead change where there needed to be, and were energetic and enthusiastic and just wanted to be active within the RCN. So yeah, I became a student ambassador, and as I said, I was able to attend student debates around nursing issues that were current, and I was able to go to the mainland and connect and network with the other student members who again were on the same wavelength as me, who wanted to tackle the current issues for the student members. As we know, we all have our fair share of bumps in the road, so it's great to come along and sort of bounce that off each other, where things differ in different parts of the country and what we can all do to move forward. Whenever I was at university, a lot of the benefits of being an RCN student member, not just a student ambassador, was that I could use the services, especially where I am in my headquarters. They have a fantastic library. It's obviously closed at the minute due to COVID, but on the RCN online, they have a fantastic range of journals and online books, because I found everybody seemed to be doing an assignment around the same time. Like, there was one cohort and the books would just fly off the shelves in the library, but I had the RCN library. So it was great to always have that backup. So that's just one of the benefits that helped me academically through that. Through my SA role as well, my student ambassador role, I was able then to run for a seat on the students committee, and I was really I suppose passionate is the only word that I can use to describe, in becoming more connected, as I said, with the mainland, and bringing just even the issues that Northern Ireland, bringing them to more focus of the UK. I'll be honest and say sometimes I feel we are a bit more disconnected in Northern Ireland because we are not over there all the time, and I wanted to sort of stand up and bring that connection closer and make that bridge stronger. I'm sure you're all aware of the strike action that took place here in Northern Ireland back in January, and as a member of the Students' Committee, along with the other student ambassadors, the team as I call it, we were able to help support students who were ultimately out in placement whenever those strikes were happening. Students were in a very awkward position. Obviously we do still get a bursary in Northern Ireland, and the strike was ultimately against the Department of Health. So we did not want students being conflicted in that, and we were able to help guide them and support them, and if they were having any issues out in placement, we were able to come to us and we were able to support them and guide them in the right direction to someone who could help them or to bring their issues do the forefront. Really, all I have left to say in regards to being a student ambassador, an RCN student member and a committee member is that my role has introduced me to some inspirational people, the likes of Dame Donna herself I've met, and even hearing different colleagues' backgrounds and their journey to nursing is just something that there's always someone I'll aspire to, or pick something up from or learn from, something that we'll all do in nursing. I've really made friends for life, and that's one thing that I'll always take with me. And I recently wrote a blog for one of the newly qualified nurse pages that your nursing colleagues, the friends that you make at university, they will carry through with you in life, because they will understand what you're going through. As much as your family and your friends will be there, nobody will understand their nursing journey like you will or like they will. So that's just something that personally I have gained from a personal perspective from the RCN membership as well. And as I've gone to conferences and debates and meetings, I've seen that as my knowledge has grown, so has my passion and my drive to support my colleagues around me, students, nurses, both alike. So as I previously mentioned, the student ambassador role was rebranded, and it was done last year at a student ambassador conference. But this year, like most things, we couldn't actually meet up in person, and that's one thing I always really look forward to, and I think everybody has missed this year, was that face-to-face contact and getting to catch up on how's your journey going or anything like that. And yeah, so definitely this year we're having it, but it's going to be virtual, so do keep an eye out on all the RCN socials, the student social pages for updates or anything like that. But I'm just going to leave it on the note of, if you're passionate about wanting to make a difference to help shape the future of the healthcare service in any way or form, then definitely becoming an RCN student member or student ambassador is definitely the first step. So as I said, use your chat box and feel free to send in any messages, and myself or any of the other speakers will be happy to try and answer that for you. So that's me. That's all about me. Enough about me. We're going to move on to the next speaker, Cecil Gomez, who is actual student ambassador. She's going to tell you a bit of her journey as well.
Hi, so thank you, Lindsay, for passing it on to me. So I'm Cecil, and I'm a second year student nurse adult field from University of Manchester. So my journey with RCN kind of began even before I stepped foot into university, because it was like me and my friend from college both went into different unis, because she wanted to do pediatrics and I wanted to do adult. And that was like the last thing we did before she kind of left for her uni. And so I was one of the first kind of members from my cohort, and also like that was the very first nursing cohort from Manchester. So I knew I wanted to do something, but I just didn't have any seniors or anyone that I could actually look up to and stuff. So I joined RCN way before. And then RCN members actually came into university during Freshers Week, and that's when so many others joined, and it was really good to see the passion that I had shared among so many others. And I find it really interesting, because I was actually I submitted my form for RCN SIO, and then out of the blue I got this invite to attend the student ambassador conference last year in Wales, and I was like, yeah, I'll go for it, I'll do it, because I had an open mind and I just wanted to dip toes in it and see how it was. And I think that was like the starting point, and I don't think I've stopped since then. It's been like the one push I needed to kind of like raise my confidence, and it's been brilliant. So that's where it all started, and I started networking with people I actually never imagined I would even meet in person, or let alone during the pandemic grow closer with. Um, After that, I went on to go to the Safe Staffing and Save Lives as a student ambassador, and that was so good to see the RCN reps and student ambassadors working together for the campaign. And the next one was, and then after that, this year has been like, it's been so many dreams come true kind of moments, because I became the steering committee member for Southeast Region's Fusion Group. So it's kind of like a support group for BAME community members, and that's been really close to my heart, and something that I'm really grateful for RCN to kind of help me put my passion in the right place. And so being even first year, I didn't realize how much of an impact RCN was actually having in my life, because it helped me so much with just kind of doing things regardless of my position at that point. So I know we all say it's just one person's voice, I'm just a single person, what can I do? But joining RCN actually helped me with grouping together, networking with the right people, and making that voice even louder. So you kind of like, then I'm not the only person kind of trying to say this out loud, there is so many more, and the voice just becomes louder. What else? I think the best part of RCN's membership that I have gained, apart from being a student ambassador, is the library. Like, it saved my so much trips, because I'm a commuting student, and library is like, I didn't want to kind of travel just for library. So RCN Library online, getting all the articles, and sometimes it was really good because not many people were using it as much as I thought they would. And then my tutors would be like, oh, where did you get that from? And I was like, I got it from RCN. So, and then I kind of started sharing the info with my group members, and they were like, oh, that's so good, because you kind of have very detailed information. Sometimes you just type in like keywords and you get exactly what you need. So that's been the highlight. And yeah, that's about it, to be honest. I hope you do join and see how much a whole new world open to you, because people do listen. So even though you're a student, I think as a student nurse, we are the most and well represented in the RCN.
Thank you so much, Cecil. Oh my goodness, I completely am with you on this one, especially when you were saying about our voices being heard. One thing about being a student member is when you go to your colleagues and you give them an issue, they are 100% behind the students. They have our backs, and that's one thing I have to say. We're very lucky we have that support. Okay, so moving on then to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Valerie Bailey, who is joining us tonight. She is the head of member support services, and Valerie is going to talk us through some of the services that you can avail of with being a student member.
Hi, thanks Lindsay, thanks ever so much for the introduction. So as Lindsay said, my name is Val Bailey and I'm the head of the RCN Member Support Services. This is a package that is only for members. It provides really specialist support to all of our members, particularly for students. They find it very useful, our counselling service and also our welfare service that provides support for those in financial hardship. I think just to give you a little bit of context, for me, what's the strength of the RCN is the fact that many of our staff have been nurses, and so we really understand the issues that you are facing. I started nursing the day after my 18th birthday, which was quite a long time ago now. Most of my career focused in primary care and in education. I was a lecturer practitioner for many years in Cardiff University. I've been in the RCN for nearly 15 years now, so it's a slightly different sort of non-nursing role. And again, as Donna said, you know, nursing can take you into so many different branches. But what I find is that my nursing background is absolutely invaluable in some of the issues that we deal with, very sort of sensitive and traumatic issues sometimes that our members face. My background in education it took me to a lot of places as well. I worked over in the Middle East for some time, but I always came back to the fact that, you know, as student nurses, you're our future. I mean, I believed that when I was in education, and I believe it now. So it's essential, I think, that we support and value you. I've loved doing these student webinars. I used to be involved a lot when I worked in Wales in this sort of face-to-face student sessions, and got really excited to meet people face-to-face. So this is a new venture, but it's been so rewarding. What I wanted to do very quickly, we haven't got very much time, but I'm going to share my screen with you quickly, if the hopefully if it works. Let's have a look. And I think this is probably the easiest way to do that presentation. Can everyone see that? Yeah. So this is our services. It's member support services, and you can actually get to it from the Get Help button just at the top. We provide career service, counselling, immigration, lamplight services for members with disabilities, and also our welfare service, which is focused very much on financial hardship. I would say certainly the services that are used most by students tend to be counselling and welfare. During this COVID pandemic, peer support and support for our members with disabilities has also been very valuable. We've done a lot of work around the transparent face masks, for example. Career service tends to be used more for CV writing, interview skills, more towards the end of your journey, I would say. Lots of stuff there around COVID-19 and finances. But I just wanted to bring your attention to the counselling service that we offer. We offer a series of 6 sessions to our members. And one of the things that we really focus on is around your self-care. We're really keen for people to come to counselling sooner rather than later, and not to wait to be in crisis. There's lots of different resources you'll see on the counselling website around mental health, work-related advice, lots of information about other people that you can refer to also. And then the Healthy Workplace, Healthy You, lots of resources there around when you're actually, you know, a little bit further on to your career and you're in placement, and you might want to think about some of the resources that you can use to look after yourself and your workplace. So I'm just going to stop there in terms of the services, because I know you've probably got lots of questions to ask, and I don't want to monopolise this. But I wanted to, just before I left, bring your attention to the Student Money Guide. This has just recently been revamped, and it's fantastic. Our students find it so useful. It's a really good resource, but also to bear in mind that if you have got any sort of financial hardship issues, that you can actually get in touch with our welfare advisors and make an appointment, and they can talk you through things like sort of benefits, you know, things around housing, debt, all sorts of stuff that you might find that you struggle with perhaps during your studies. Hopefully not, but we're there for you if you need us. I'm going to finish there and hand back to Lindsay. Look forward to hearing your questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Valerie. That was really useful, especially the Student Money Guide. I think there'll be quite a few people accessing that after this tonight. It'll come in useful no matter what part of the UK you're from, so it's always good to know. So moving on then, we have our final speaker before we take any of your questions is Catherine. And Catherine is joint head of the Library and Archive Services, and she's really pleased the fact that we have bigged up the library. The whole of this webinar, I don't think we can big it up enough. So yeah, it's going to hand over to Catherine and she's going to tell you a bit more about that.
Thank you so much for that introduction, and I honestly felt like I almost didn't need to sell the library this evening after the praise I got for the service, that is, and it's just great to hear that the student members really are making the most of the library. We are Europe's largest nursing library. We have access to over 20,000 ebooks, thousands of journals, and a whole wealth of resources available to you. I'm going to actually share my screen so I can quickly highlight some of those for you. So hopefully that will come through, and you're currently seeing the library website there. So at the moment, due to COVID-19, our physical libraries, which are in Cardiff, London, Belfast and Edinburgh, are all closed. However, the fantastic thing about the RCN Library is that most of our collections are digital. We have got such a vast amount that you can access from anywhere, and that's particularly a fantastic feature because we know that not all of our members live in close proximity to a library. So it just means that regardless of where your career takes you in the UK, the RCN Library and Archive Service will always be here for you. One of the things Cecil mentioned was how easy it was to find articles and books on topics you're interested in. And on the main page here, you can just see that we've got a search box for you to enter in something you might be interested in. I was going to be bold today and try and do a new search, but I was scared I would misspell orthopedic. So I've gone for wound care as my search topic. And what our search platform does is it brings together books, articles and a variety of resources all in one place. Really easy to narrow down what you're looking for, so you can do that by publication date. You may be looking for more up-to-date and current information for your studies. You can also go through, select things like full text online or by the type of material, so book and ebook if I was looking for a nice starter to get me going with the topic. And then when I've identified something that's of interest to me, I can then click on that to check availability, and hopefully we'll find one. There we go. If it's an ebook, you can click full text online to be taken through. Now, when I was studying, ebooks were something that were absolutely horrendous, and I tried to avoid like the plague, but they have come on leaps and bounds these days. So you can download a chapter if you want to particularly annotate something at home, but you can also go on and annotate the ebooks as you study and look through them as well. So there's a lot of flexibility there. I would show you now, but we've got only a small amount of time. So I'll just pop back there and go back to the library homepage. So that was just a quick demonstration of how easy it is to find resources there and access them. Once you're signed up as an RCN member, it's just your login details for your RCN membership to access all of our resources. So we've got books, journals, databases. We also have a whole range of subject guides for you that give you starting points into a variety of topics, including an introduction to the library. We also have things such as our support pages. So from here, you can get a whole range of training and support from us. Literature searching and training is a great starting point. So you can access our online drop-in help. We've got training sessions that you can book to get one-to-one support for searching for materials. This will be really important in third year when you do your dissertation, because we can guide you through doing things like accessing the databases and doing a literature search. We also have some handy introductory videos as well. So we've got library search, which is what I just looked at. You can get a bit more of a detailed overview there. The one thing I do want you to take away from today, if you don't remember any of that detail, is just to know that we're here to support you through your studies. If you need access to an ebook, a journal, whatever it happens to be, just get in contact. You can click our chat now button to have a web chat with one of the team who would love to hear from you. And we take recommendations too. So if there's something you want to see in the library, please just let us know and we'll be able to buy that in. The last note to say is, whilst we are currently closed to access to the libraries, we are doing postal loans. So if there really is a book you're desperate to get hold of and we don't have it online, we will also post it out to you as well. So I'll end there and look forward to seeing some of you in the library once we can all get back together face to face.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Yeah, as I said, both of us who have been students can definitely back that up and say it is a hidden gem. I've said that from first year, so definitely avail of it. So thank you so much for all the speakers who have joined us tonight. Hopefully all the students at home watching will have taken, if not one, but something from that. We're going to go to some questions now. We'll have some questions that have been coming through while the webinar has been running and the speakers have been talking. So, ladies, I have a question for Donna. Donna, the first question is for you. Are the RCN going to fight for student fees to be scrapped due to us also having to work virtually at the moment?
So let me just start by saying that the RCN has never agreed with students having to pay their fees, and we've been campaigning all the way through. One of our first successes, as I said, was to get the maintenance grant, but we vehemently objected to students having to pay fees because we recognise that 50% of a student nurse's time is spent in the workplace. So we're not doing that just because you're having to study online. We're doing that because we think there's fundamentally a relationship that's needed between government and ensuring the right supply of nurses to run our health service. So that's why we've been arguing for student fees to be paid, because it's the way in which the government can control the supply of nurses that come into nursing and ensure that we actually meet the needs of the health of our populations. So let me just be clear, it's not because you're having to study online, it is for a number of other reasons that you're essential to the health service, you're essential to the health and care service, and actually we do believe that it is the one profession where you're working 50% of your time, and therefore we believe that student fees should be paid. So we will continue to campaign for that because it is a part of what we believe and what we have opposed the government in doing.
Thank you, Donna. Moving quickly on, we're going to try and get as many questions in as we can. Question 2 for Catherine. How do we access the library during COVID-19?
Thank you very much. Hopefully I gave a little bit of insight to that, but essentially most of our materials are online. So once you've become a member, if you go to the RCN Library web pages, you can log in using your RCN member login details to access the resources. We are providing postal loans at the moment as well. So the form is available on the website. So you can get books posted out to you if they're available in the library, though you'll find most of our core nursing texts, particularly for students, are all digital. The other thing to bear in mind as well is all of the staff are still available. We're working from home, but we're still working incredibly hard for you. So if you do need one-to-one support, if you do have a question, if you've hit the main page and you don't know where to go next, do use the chat now box, or you can call us on our telephone number, which is also on the website, and staff are still picking up the phones, as well as, of course, by email. The one thing I didn't plug earlier was the Twitter account, RCN Libraries. So if you are more social media focused, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram and send us questions that way as well. If you can think of a way to get hold of us, we're probably on that platform to be available and ready to take questions.
Great, thanks very much, Catherine. Question 3, Valerie, it's your turn in the hot seat. Can I get help if I was experiencing a personal issue, or is it just for issues relating to my degree? It's a good one.
Our counselling service is for all issues, whether they're work related or home related. So absolutely, yes.
And another one for Catherine, is the library only located in London?
We have 4 libraries, and they're in each of the capitals. So we've got a library in Cardiff, Belfast, Edinburgh and London. So you can visit those once they're open. Do look at the website in the new year for information as to when we will be able to open the sites, as it will of course depend regionally and on local restrictions as to what we can do. But pop in and say hello. We've got fantastic country librarians as well, who are always happy to see members come through the door.
That's great. So Cecil, we have a question for yourself. How has COVID-19 changed the way that nursing students can progress within the RCN?
So I don't think, apart from the fact that you're missing out on meeting people in person, COVID-19 hasn't really taken out much, because if you are following RCN students or any of the other RCN socials, you will see that there's loads of things happening right now, with the SA conference still happening but only online. So you still get to connect with people, network with them, and I think the best way is via socials, following on all the either Facebook or Twitter, and that way you're kind of like still getting out as much, apart from the freebies. Which when you register, you do get some of them sent home, but yeah, you still can network with people over emails and attend all the AGMs. So as a student, it doesn't mean that you cannot become the executive members of the branches local to you. So you can still attend those in via online. So just hoping that you can meet those people in person and then just create those relationships stronger after.
Great, thanks very much. There's a question has come in, how do I apply to be a student ambassador? So I'm going to quickly answer that one. And normally they have Freshers Week and you will have a stand there, but clearly that's not been able to happen at the minute. So the easiest way for you to apply to be a student ambassador is if you go onto the RCN website, type in how to become a student ambassador, and it'll give you up all the details, all the role descriptions, and you just fill in your details, and there's a form just to fill in, very small, just to tell us a bit about yourself, and send it in, and then it'll go to your regional office, who will then be in contact with you and yeah, get you on board. So hopefully that answers that question. The next question then is for Donna. Why is it important for nursing students to be part of a union?
So I'm going to say it's important for everybody to be part of a union. If you think about the work of a union, and think about when we talk about the RCN, it's not just a union. It actually has been responsible over the years for reducing hours that nurses worked. If you went right back to the early 19th century, some of the things we did was making sure that the length of hours, the weeks that we worked. So unions and Royal Colleges are important because they help people with problems at work, and you will work and you won't ever be able to say that you won't face any problems, whether it's system issues, whether it's not enough staff, whether actually you make a mistake. You will always need somebody to seek advice and support from. And you know, I just would say to people, you know, that's how we got minimum wages. That's how we got health and safety at work, is through unions putting pressure on employers. And you'll have studied this at school. Come on, you know, the toll puddle martyrs. And actually, even though that seems a long time ago, if you think about where we are at this time, none of us could have foreseen this pandemic. And, you know, throughout this whole pandemic, I have been everywhere talking about personal protection equipment, paying people when they're sick, making sure that those that are shielded could still pay their rent. So those are the reasons that you can't see over the horizon that I would say to you, it's important to join a union and a Royal College.
Thank you so much. Just the last quick question again for Catherine. One of our attendees wants to know, is the RCN Library service free?
So the RCN Library service is a perk of membership. So once you become a member, you can access all of the resources we subscribe to. The reason I think it's a very worthwhile membership benefit, I used to be a university nursing librarian for 5 or 6 years before joining the RCN, and what we really are is a complementary service. You've got to think about it this way: your university teaches hundreds of courses, and it's got to split its funding, its money across all of those courses as fairly as possible. We're a specialist library, so we're able to buy the resources specifically for nurses, for nursing associates, for the entire workforce, and we're able to tailor to a greater depth. So we tend to have a wider range. We may have some of the more obscure journals that may relate to a specific interest you start to develop as you study. But critically, when it comes to your third year in doing a dissertation, we'll have access to some of the specialist things as you start to take a deep dive into a specialism in nursing. So we are really well worth benefit of membership alongside all of the other fantastic things people have spoken about today.
Great, thank you so much. Well, the time has come now to the end of the webinar. I can't believe that hour has gone so quickly. I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I have. And I just want to say a big thank you to the presenters for coming on. So Dame Donna, thank you. Sel, thank you. Val and Catherine, thank you so much for all your support, your advice throughout everything, not just here tonight, but throughout the whole time. We really appreciate it as student members. And thank you to the attendees for joining us tonight. I hope you've got something out of that. Anything that we haven't answered tonight, feel free to contact us. You'll find a lot of the RCN students on social media. If you're on Twitter, Twitter is such a big networking platform in the nursing community, so it's at RCN students, or you can contact us through the webpage. And if you are interested in becoming a student ambassador or even just becoming a student member, it is only 84p a month. It will be the best 84p a month that you'll ever spend over your next couple of years. And yeah, you can look us up on Facebook or any of the social medias. This will be recorded, or has been recorded, and it will be up on the RCN YouTube channel, hopefully in the next couple of days. If your question wasn't answered tonight, keep an eye out. We'll try and collate them and answer them. And yeah, as I said, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a real pleasure. I hope you've enjoyed the webinar series as much as we've enjoyed hosting them. And we hope to connect with you all soon.